Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I am your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is a very talented and a very beautiful person, and Miss Maleka, the foot model herself. How are you, Maleka? Thank you so much for your time.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I appreciate your work. Maleka's doing a lot of great work on her YouTube channel, The Foot Model Life, Foot Model Success. I got to say, first and foremost, a lot of quality content on the YouTube, and you're doing a lot of great things in the foot modeling industry as well.
Yeah, I'm trying. Trying to carve that path for the non-nude foot models to find a way.
Understood completely. Now, for you, first and foremost, there's so many different unique preferences and a lot of niches out there that a lot of people really get into. And I think it's wonderful for everybody to expand their horizons and really showcase their talents. But for you and the endeavor side of things, the foot modeling side of things, first and foremost, what gravitated you towards that? In regards to that career and that really passion that you have, because you put out a lot of great content, like I mentioned, but what really gravitated you towards modeling?
Well, I actually always wanted to be a foot model. Me and my mom, who I make foot porn with, we always talked about having pretty feet and pretty hands, and we should always be foot models. But I'm really short, so I didn't think that it was something that would actually happen. And then I found out about Instagram foot modeling in the beginning of 2018 or the end of 2017. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a dream come true. So I just dived right in without knowing anything. And here we are. I've loved every second of it. And the more I learn, the more I like. Makes me want to do more. It's been really fun.
I look at it from a stance too as well, and like for you as well, you do a lot of stuff with like your flip flops and stuff like that that really showcases kind of like it's like fashion meets modeling as well, but it also has that sex appeal vibe. So I mean, if you can incorporate all that and make it like a recipe for content as well as stuff that really gravitates people towards and people that enjoy, I say why not, right?
Yeah. And if you like shoes, be a foot model.
And for you, I think that's very interesting because it ties into a lot of the modeling stuff. I mean, we could go from adult modeling, foot modeling, and stuff like that. What I love about it too, as well, like the evolution of how modeling really has. I mean, it doesn't matter what shape, size you are, everything's sort of evolved, and we really get to showcase women for the internal and external beauty that they have. So I got to ask you about the modeling side of things. Isn't it great to see how the modeling game has really evolutionized and revolutionized over the years?
Yes. Before it was all these big wigs that thought that this is the box that everyone wanted to see and everyone should look like this, that tall, skinny, whatever. But as the internet grew and all those wonderful sites, we found out that there is a body type for everyone. Everyone has different body types and everyone is somebody's type. So that's what's been cool. A lot of times women would think that they're not as good as the women on the magazines, but now we know that the women on the magazines are a very small portion of what men actually prefer. So that's been pretty cool to see.
I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. What's great too is the conventions. Like there's Exotic Con, there's Fetish Con, there's so many different cons. I mean, we've had from Comic Con in general that a lot of great portion of the fans really go to really see a lot of their great performers and really showcase what they love and really have the booths and have that experience. So for you, for the fan side of things, how great is that to see in the Exotica side and the Fetish Con side that there's a group of people that really go to this to meet some of their favorite content creators, but also contributors to said modeling and just in general. It's a rush for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it was fun. This last year was my first time at FetishCon or any convention, and it was so fun. It felt like a summer camp for all of us fetish models, and it was so fun. And it was so fun to meet fans, and it was mostly industry members, but it was it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I'm ready for next year already.
Well, that's the thing too. And I mean, I've always heard this saying, like, let your freak flag fly. But I think what's interesting about it too, as well, some people can be dubbed like the freak type of thing. But also, what I like about it too, as well, like, for instance, like when you're a kid and you see like BDSM stuff, and some people now that's a very popular genre. People like, the dominatrix type of thing. Some people like foot modeling. There's something for everyone. And what I've always enjoyed too, as well, I think in today's day and age, especially in the year 2022, I mean, there's still some ignorance out there, but there's also so much open mindedness and level mindedness that I think it's great for a platform to people to really showcase their talents. And also, you may be judged over here, but there's a certain atmosphere and there's a certain climate where it's more accepted now. And I think we need more acceptance and level of acceptance in today's day and age.
I completely agree with you. Again, with the advent of the internet and all the things that came with the internet, people found that what they like is not only what they like. There are so many people that share common interests and things that are considered maybe weird or the freaky stuff. It's so common. It's way more common than people realize. So I really hope that foot fetish isn't stigmatized anymore. Let your foot fetish flag fly.
Right. And that's the thing too. I mean, with the advert, like you mentioned, the advent of the internet. I mean, back in the day when you just had like sites or AOL and email and everything, but then the creation of MySpace and social media, and especially what we have now, like the OnlyFans and the many vids have really had that boom. And I think for you, we'll talk about OnlyFans first, because first and foremost, a lot of content creators during COVID became really big because everything that happened with COVID, we're inside. We get to show our creativity during a very tumultuous time. But OnlyFans has really taken that boom. And I mean, you're doing your thing on OnlyFans with your content. But what's great about it too is a very much an adult site with adult content, but also get to show different sides of the modeling aspect and also gets the great interaction with fans. So what has OnlyFans been like for you ever since its inception, how you got started with it?
I started foot modeling in 2018 and I started my OnlyFans at the beginning of 2019. It started off pretty slow. I didn't know what I was doing on it. Um, but at the beginning of 2020, it started to really pick up. And then the pandemic, it was like crazy. Everyone's at home, everyone is looking for connection, everyone's looking for entertainment. So it really boomed in 2020. And it's been really cool to have fans, tell me what they do like and um, what their preferences are, and seeing that I need to add this type of content or that type of content to make sure that I include everyone into what they would prefer, and adding heels and adding nylons more often and socks. I'm just realizing recently that socks are a big thing and I need to do that more often. I didn't do it enough. So it's cool to have the fans say, oh man, I'd love to see you in more socks, and learning about them. It's been fun.
Okay, so I'm going to add on to that because you actually make a very great point. There is something about it, and I can speak from the male point of view here. There's something about seeing a beautiful woman such as yourself, Miss Maleka, and the nylons and socks, whether you just stretch it up. It's like when I'll make a pop culture reference. It's like when Britney Spears wore like the Catholic, outfit and Baby One More Time, and that Catholic school, or that imagery that everybody
Oh
has
yeah.
in their minds. Like there's something about it where it's just like the long socks. It has that very sensual vibe, but also
Yeah.
there's something about women in nylons and socks, man. That's it for men.
It's almost like hidden, but then a little naughty because it's not quite hidden. It's fun.
Right, that's the thing, but that's cool too. And I mean, such a very much variety with the socks and the nylons. I think you can also incorporate some lingerie into that as well. Like it works. It has that style, but it also has that appeal and sex appeal to it that a lot of people really enjoy. And I think that's wonderful to add layers upon layers upon layers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for you, like you mentioned, your mom doing stuff as well with the foot modeling and the two of you together, I think that's wonderful as well, especially the fact like with your mom having that passion too. That's got to be great to have that support system really just going into everything that you do and creating the content that you do, right?
Oh, for sure. And it's been really fun working with her. She's my real mom.
Yep.
And I've learned so many things about my mom, about what a naughty girl she used to be in her prime. So when we're doing these naughty customs together, it's really funny to hear her really get into the character and know all these words. And she's naughtier than I am sometimes, which is kind of funny. So that's been cool. And she's been very supportive. So
It comes with the age old experience and really just showcasing yourself and passing it on to you. And I think what's great about it too as well, first of all, you can't be family, number one. And number two, when you also have that support system, it's wonderful. And then you as well, like myself, you do a lot of great interviews. I've seen your stuff with Leilani Lay and Anastasia Rose. So the setup that I love about your interviews, and I suggest everybody to check out Malika's interviews because they're so for you with talent that's in the industry, it's barefoot, showcasing the feet, and boom, boom, boom. You're sitting there on a bed. It's a very intimate setting. So for you, how did that aspect of, okay, I got my nylons, I got my socks. Let me showcase my shoes. Let me really showcase that sex appeal and fashion. But boom, let me talk to some people in the industry. How did the interview portion of that come to fruition? Because it's a lot of fun with the people you have on.
Yes, that has become a very fun project. It actually started because YouTube age restricts everything. And I watch a lot of interviews, and on the interviews, they talk about all kinds of crazy stuff that I I find to be way more inappropriate for children than what I post. So I'm like, what the heck? Well, I'll just interview people and then that won't be age restricted. So that's actually how it started. But it's turned into this big project where I want to get everybody just interviewed because I'm asking questions that fans typically ask. The common questions like, do you like to walk around barefoot? Are you ticklish? Things like that. So it's turned into this really fun project that hopefully it's going somewhere else for season 3, where I interview and then it turns into an OnlyFans video. So that's fun.
Gotta say, first and foremost, they're always entertaining. And what I do like about it as well, and well, first of all, you talk about YouTube restrictions. I'm going to say this right now with everything that's out on the internet. And this is what I talk about because you see a lot of models that would have you get banned off of Instagram, banned off Twitter. Like, I understand it. I understand guidelines and stuff, but I'm like, there's so much stuff that's worse than what like myself will post or a lot of people post. And it's like, really? I mean, I get it, but I mean, talking about foot modeling and talking and showing a bare feet, which is the human body and really absorbs us as our work of art that we are as people, I think there's much worse stuff out there, right?
Oh, for sure. If everyone treated bare feet the way big tech does, every beach would be a nude beach
Right?
because they treat feet like it is explicit nudity. And if I had known that prior to starting my YouTube, I would have not said anything about feet. I would have just said model life or because just naming it foot model life, I'm immediately flagged for everything. So I have to be very careful. I think I figured out the algorithm or however the AI detects my videos. If I do collections and I wear the shoes, like a bunch of different shoes, that shouldn't be age restricted. If the feet are not right in the center of the video, if they're down a little bit, then it shouldn't be age restricted. So I think I've kind of figured it out.
Hey, I've tried myself with some of the adult stars and models that I've had on my show. It's interesting because it's so funny because even if there's like a snip, like you could have like a bikini shot. I remember I spoke to a model about being on TikTok. Now, TikTok in its own right has become its own boom as well, but TikTok's very strict with like, oh, you can't have a bikini on or what have you, and like your profile picture and stuff. I'm like, first of all, it's a bikini, number one, and number two, again, understanding it, but also at the same time, you can have not even just a little bit of skin is fine. You know what I'm saying? But it's just we're in a day and age where everything has to be, there's PC, there's a lot of stuff. Again, you get it, but at the same time, come on now. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, TikTok, I kind of understand because it's mostly children on there. It's like 13.
Yep.
But YouTube, that is mostly adults. There's a lot of adult content. And I don't mean porn, I mean content for adults.
Right.
Kids shouldn't be listening to the news, really. It's not appropriate for kids talking about bombing and death and all that stuff, just stuff for adults. And that's what most of YouTube is. So
Hey,
it's silly.
come a long way from 2007 when we had guys like Tay Day and Chocolate Rain and all those videos becoming viral back in the day and MySpace at the time to where we are now. So, I mean, the influx of social media has its positive and negatives. And for you, I'm going to say right now, with your social media, like you're doing your thing on Twitter, you're doing your thing on OnlyFans and many vids. We'll talk about many vids here because many vids you get to showcase a lot of the sample clips, which are really good, whether it be foot smothering, whether it be joy jerk off instruction stuff, and really that sex appeal. Now,
Yeah.
for many vids, we'll talk about this. What are your thoughts on the many vid side of things and the fact that we get to see a lot of sample clips, like I just mentioned, really showcased on that platform?
Well, mini vids is my third clip site. I have clips for sale, I want clips, and then mini vids. And mini vids, they have a way that you can get a membership so you can get all the videos in 1 month and pay for the full month. And they have a subscription more like OnlyFans as well, which I don't take advantage of because I haven't figured it out yet. But the individual clip selling is definitely a great way to make more passive income. It's not fully passive because obviously you have to make the clips and upload the clips and keep it updated, but making money while you sleep is what they call it when you sell individual clips, which is obviously what I mostly do is the clip sales. So mini vids has been great, clips for sales been great, all of them.
Understood. And I think what's great about it too as well, the custom side of things, like you said, with clips, like the consumer, like myself or whoever watches the clips, it's great just to see like how many people really buy, and like it's the mother load. It's like up here, so many people that just want a custom clip, a foot modeling, foot fetishes and stuff. Like the custom side of things has got to be amazing for you because customs are really kind of like the age of really where we were back in the day with customs, and now how much customs have really evolved. It's something that a lot of people want to consume, and I think everybody just loves the custom. It's become very infectious for a lot of men and women.
Oh, for sure. And this past month, it's been great. I've had about 15 customs a week. And most of my clips on my clip store are customs. I would say about 80% to 90% are custom clips that I did and I'm reselling. So I get a lot of customs and it's definitely been really cool. That's probably how I've learned the most was through custom clips because I'll get a custom and I've never heard of this before or I've never thought to use this phrase before and then I'll incorporate it. Like I have a feet joy series and now I do it with every single model that I work with and you just say feet a lot and I found that that's really successful and the fans have really liked that and that's from a custom that I got. He wanted me to say feet a lot, so I picked that up and I'm like, oh, that was fun and the fans like that, so now I pick it up and do it with everybody. So
And
the
I
customs you learn a lot.
Right. And I mean, I think you never stop learning, as the age old saying goes. But also at the same time, what's cool about it is like when you look at foot fetish, like I'll say this right now for those who are professional wrestling fans, Tony Atlas is well known in the professional wrestling industry for having a foot fetish. He likes women on his face, he likes souls. That's awesome. But what's cool about it too as well, there's that foot worship category and there's that foot smothering and stuff. So smotherings and worship on the same side of things, really combining that together, that's done wonders for a lot of clientele, but also at the same time, it's done wonders for video. A lot of people like to have it worship. A lot of people like smothering. It's a very hand in hand type of feel, right?
Yeah, and I do mostly POV, so it's me like covering the camera with my feet and pretending that I'm smothering or pretending that he's licking from my heel to my toes, and I'll describe it all and kind of be like, "Oh, that feels so good," you know. That's a very popular category for sure.
And that's what I think I love about it too, is I think from where we've had it with like adult sites and really with modeling sites, what's interesting is too, like everybody had back in the day subscribed to sites, but I'm going to ask you about like, you look at websites now, like I mentioned ManyVids and OnlyFans, like we're in a day and age, like if you want to watch an adult film, there's X Hamster, there's X videos, there's so much stuff out there that are at our fingertips from the technological side of things. Like how interesting is that from where we were, where we could just subscribe to a site, what have you, to see, and we'd have samples back in the day with adult films or just on TV, but everything nowadays is such streaming and everything. Like, what do you think about that influx of what we have? Everything just right at our fingertips from the technological standpoint.
Think for the most part, it's a very good thing. I think you can find what you want rather than subscribing somewhere and not being able to speak to that creator and maybe not getting exactly what you want and craving something else to now you can almost find anything that you think of. And if you can't, you can easily order a custom through the sites. It's very easy to get exactly what you want nowadays. So I think that's really cool. And I'm happy to do it.
Absolutely. And I look at it from a stance too as well. And going back to modeling for a second, like when I was a kid, like everybody could talk about this. Like when you had your Tyra Bankses and your Naomi Campbells and America's Next Top Model was all the rage. And I'm going to say this right now as someone like yourself who does really much encompass the voluptuosity factor, as I like to dub it, the plus size modeling game from the Ashley Grahams, and many people have done that. I think what's great too about it is as well, and I'm gonna say this because women like yourself, beautiful women, voluptuosity factor, the plus size modeling game is taken over, and there's also women like yourself that a lot of men like myself gravitate towards. Because I'm gonna say, beautiful plus size talent like yourself, it's confidence, it's the swag, it's the sex appeal. Y'all really do have us, really gravitate support. I'm gonna say it. It's a preference, it's love, and it's respect, my friend.
Yeah, it's more to grab onto. It's more curves. It's more natural. It looks like I eat. If you took me out to dinner, I wouldn't be picking a French fry off your plate and then not eating the rest.
Hey, it's the old Blackstreet curves. The word spins the verb, my friend. No diggity, no doubt. But that's the thing that you have to have about it too, as well. And I think what I like about it too is like body confidence and body positivity is really the way to go. And I think the best way about it is showcasing yourself. Because for me, I think you can agree with me on this. Sexiness comes in many different forms, whether it be internal and external beauty, swag, confidence. There's many different ways and definitive ways to describe sexiness. So there's something for everybody, and it really does show within everybody's work and their preferences, right?
Yep. Absolutely. There's a body for everybody, so just love the body you're in.
But I will say this about this because first and foremost, I can't wait to see where you continue to grow with your platform and the YouTube stuff. I really do enjoy the content. So if anybody has not checked out my friend Malika over here, go out of your way to do it. And I'm going to say this right now: it's really been a joy to really bring up these great topics and a lot of quality content that you do. And I'm going to say right now, the platform's here. Anytime you want to come back up for a round two, you're more than welcome, Miss Malika.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Course, there's so many different topics out there, and I'm going to say this with everybody when it comes to this: be yourself, enjoy yourself, and really just explore what you love. Because, as I always say with this show, life is an art form, and we are all here applying our crafts. And you, my friend, apply your craft in amazing fashion. So, for you, I'm going to ask because you do a lot of great work. You continue to produce content, but for anybody that wants to get in said modeling game, foot modeling, what have you, really explore and expand their horizons, what advice would you give them? To anybody who wants to get into the modeling field, foot modeling, really showcase their talents? What advice would you give them?
I would say first and foremost, make sure that you are aware that you'll be labeled a sex worker. I didn't know that. And you have to be comfortable with that. And also make sure that your privacy is top priority. I have a whole video series about that. So make sure that your privacy is taken care of. Those are the first two things that you need to consider. And then start practicing. Take lots of pictures. Even practicing what other people are doing and then just making it your own. Learn a lot about what you want to do and what your niche is. Figure out your niche also, and just keep going. Don't stop. It took me a year, probably over a year, to make any kind of money. So I did it because I liked it. And if you don't like it, also don't do it because you get really busy. It's something that I didn't realize was going to be keeping me this busy. So if you like it, it's great. It doesn't feel like work. But if it's not something you want to do and you're just doing it for money, it's probably not going to work out for you. So just keep a couple things in mind and just keep going if it's something you like.
Beautifully and eloquently said, and I'll add on to that. I think with anything that you do when it comes to privacy and anything in that regards, and any of your work, folks, I'll use the two S's here, and I think you'll appreciate this, Miss Malika. Safe and spectacular. Keep it safe, but also do it in spectacular fashion. Safe and spectacular.
That's right.
And for you, I'll add on to that as well before I have you promote the social media, because you actually brought up a great point in your field and what you do, and we've touched upon this because I've interviewed people of all facets of life, but you're deemed automatically an SW, a sex worker. And first of all, it's wonderful to be a sex worker, whether you're adult, modeling, what have you. That term just gets like thrown around now. Everything is just sex worker stuff, right? You see that really in commonplace now, right?
Yeah, and all the people that have started OnlyFans and think, oh, I'm just showing off my bikini, you're a sex worker. You need to keep that in mind. They don't consider themselves that, but that's what they're doing. I think that that needs to be common knowledge that that's what you are going to be considered and that's what you're doing. And your future jobs are going to look at that. Your future partners are going to look at that as sex work because that's what it is.
I will say this: whatever endeavor you get into, whether it be sex work or have you, have fun with it and showcase your talents. And I
Yes.
think what's great about it too, as well, is first and foremost, well, I'm going to say this because you said it as well, and I agree, common sense. Because when you go into said field, and it's funny because a lot of people have that imagery, like whether it's bikini or whatever work they do with OnlyFans, they don't realize that, but it's something like now that's really become commonplace. And I think people they'll say what they will about sex workers. There's always that ongoing debate about it, but I think as long as you're happy, you're doing what you love. That's really all that matters at the end of the day.
As long as you're being safe and legal, then do your thing.
Absolutely. And that's the point of everything that we do in life. Do our thing, and you do your thing in amazing fashion. And before we close this out, Miss Malika, you are on all forms of social media. You got an amazing YouTube channel. You got the Twitter, you got the Instagram front. Let us know where we can follow you on all forms of social media. And folks, the links will be in the description. Please go right ahead.
My Twitter is mfeet8. You can pretty much find me anywhere from My Pretty Feet 8 if you just Google it. But my YouTube is Foot Model Life or Foot Model Success for the ladies or hopeful foot models. And then I have OnlyFans, which is My Pretty Feet 8. And my Instagram is a little bit different. It's just for my toenail designs. It's Malika's Nails. So that's it.
First of all, we're going to point this out too as well. So this woman over here with her nails over here, styling and profiling with the nails, definitely give that a follow. I got to say, I've seen a lot of your Instagram stuff. It really does showcase a lot of style and finesse.
I love stamping so that you get all the designs. In fact, I have I don't know if you can see, they're snowflakes. Yay!
I see it. I see it. It looks absolutely great. And folks, the links to her Instagram, Twitter, OnlyFans, and everything in general will be in the description on my YouTube channel here. And please subscribe to my pretty feet over here, my pretty feet 8, Miss Malika. And Malika, do you have any final words for your fans who've been following you since day one? And do you have any final words for the people in general?
For my fans, I am so thankful for all of you. Thanks for sticking around because I've definitely learned a lot as I have been in the industry because I started knowing nothing. So just keep following me. I'm so thankful for all of you. And everyone be nice, please. Let's
Kindness,
everyone be nice.
kindness is key. And I'll say this: what kindness is key. There's a lot of this when there should be more of this. United, not
Yeah,
divided. I like your
yeah.
style. And before we close this out, as I always send to end each and every one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Malika, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.